Marriage is a union that unites two souls together forever. This union is formed only on the basis of love, care, and fear of God. And marriage is devoid of those things, then that marriage becomes hell. When marriage becomes hell, there will be no peace in such marriage. Couples' best decision is to go separate ways. But most times, the reverse is the case. Many people stay in an abusive marriage despite all pains for different reasons. Some people stay for the sake of their children, some for the sake of their family. Some society is the reason why some stay for money. Whatever the reason could be, the victims are always the one to face the consequence. The victims could be the wife or the husband. Yes, husband. Even men go through hell in the hands of their wives. But most people believe that women are the one who got maltreated. Some good men married bad women. Irrespective, no matter how quiet we are, no matter how shy we are, no matter how concealing we are, we should try as much as possible to speak to someone about our pain. We should be able to make certain decisions only for our own sake. It is our life, because after hell, bad marriage follows. It kills slowly. The more you conceal your bad ordeals in marriage, the more you get deep into it, and the more it kills you. Before you know it, you find yourself in heaven. Marriage is a union, not a bondage. Marriage is forever, not a death sentence. Marriage is out of love, not out of hatred. Before getting married to someone, we try as much as possible to take precaution. Though God knows best, but we should also be mindful of something about our future partner before getting stuck. Marriage does not only involve the husband and the wife, it involves all the who are meant to be outsiders, but will forever remain insiders, and they have a very great influence in our marriage. These people include the sister, the brother, the father, the mother, the cousin, and nephews. Sometimes this really matters while choosing a life partners. This draws us to the story of a notable and prominent movie star, Saint Hobie, who died recently out of bad marriage. According to Zig, who is a good friend of Saint Hobie, according to him, Saint was tormented in the hands of his brother's wife. Listen attentively to what Zig says. The Marriage and Death of Saint Hobie by Zig Zulu Okafor. His social life was blunted, perhaps by his reticent disposition. His persona, two-dimensional. To a distant public, he was upscale and cool, his manly bearings proclaimed. His on-screen image ironically amplified some idiosyncrasies, heroics, romantic adventures, and traits that did not gel with the mortal privacy that he really defined as quiet and lonely life. Saint Toby's real name, Obinna Onwafo, was shy, almost bordering on timidity and insecurity. He cherished the pleasantly tranquil interactions among a few friends. He would vanish at any outburst that could upset the poise of such small meetings. As he repeatedly told me, he just wanted to live a cool, quiet, and fulfilled life. But as he lived this cool and fulfilled life he envisioned, I have my doubts. I tell Saint Toby's story here with painful tears in my eyes, because he was a star, a superstar, whose life turned out a gleam of irony. Yet it was the stardom that fetched him his much professed financially strong and powerful wife, and their wedding, the solemn ritual of love, would drastically alter the course of his life and tragically yank him off the creative community that drew him up for the wife to capture and indeed conquer. Their marriage was at best a dramatization of love. It was quick. He barely told us that he found a wife. Then the marriage happened. It was something of a mystic. Only those involved understood the ironics that played out. None of us who were his closest pals, who worked with him through the crucible to the crest of his career in Nollywood, none of us was invited. The distance between us and the guy admirably called Saint of the Storm had begun. This gulf would widen with each year. We saw him perhaps once in a year after this marriage, and life actually seemed to have given him a fair shake of the dice. He dressed well, drove big cars, and even his skin, in literal lingo, spells wellness. The saints were blessed with three beautiful children, but not on one occasion were his friends in Nollywood invited for christening or birthday. We were told that his wife was one of the topmost hierarchy in telecom giants, MTN. But even after their celebrations were designed to be a rendezvous of the highlights of the technocracy, that his wife chiefly belonged, you expected that saints would reach out to a few of his fellow creatives. For even if they would herald a small beginners, there could be no tinge of shame to it because we all have a journey and our stories. And even at that, the actor or cynist in Nollywood is by no means poor, but more tragic to the fact that his marriage did not only take away Obina from his friends, it took him away from Nollywood. Saint stopped acting, absconded from his career and perhaps his calling. This would seem prognostic now. Yes, because I recall leaving my house in Lagos mainland for his massive office in Lekki, Victoria Island, Lagos. It was about 6 years ago. There, I demanded to know why my friend abandoned our industry. He told me with his usual shy expressions that he wanted to focus on some other businesses and also to work behind the camera. Because his visage was unconvincing to me, I told him in stark terms that whatever his new vision or pursuit is, he must not abandon the trade that made him who he was. It took another 3 years for Sense to return to his homies. But when he did, some of the deeply disappointed ones sniggered behind him because of the simmering rumors of cracks in his marriage at its home. And though secretive in his ways, he knew it was time to open up, and he did. I do not know why my wife's siblings see me as a gold digger. They confront me, harass and fight me in my own matrimony, and my wife did nothing to stop them. I worked hard. I earned my money. I have never depended on my wife. He lamented, his blood with tears. You could tell he was in deep pain. At the next visit, the saint returned with a deep cut from knife on his left eye. His wife's brothers, it said, scaled the wall fence of their house to attack him. They were captured by aiding closed-circuit television, CCTV, installed for surveillance and security reviewed. He reported them at the police station and subsequently acquired a gun to defend himself. This effectively marked the beginning of the end of his marriage, and perhaps Saint Toby's long walk to a sad end. He moved out of his marital home to a new house to begin the reconstruction of his destiny, alone without his wife and was still without his three beautiful children. Meanwhile, his wife went to the police to defend her siblings, using her financial power to manipulate the course of justice. Saint stated unequivocally the wife also sued for divorce, not in Lagos, but in Ogun State. As Saint put it, it was to make the journey difficult for me. But I will not bend, neither will I break. I will fight with my last blood to take custody of my children. They love me and they know it will be hard for me to live without them. The divorce is not an issue. My marriage has long been over, except with a mix of courage and quaky hearts that betrayed his distress. About mid last year, however, Obina took ill. He told no one. He simply became scarred, was in and out of hospital. He would later learn he sold two of his three big SUVs to take proper care of his health and to acquire 6 Camry cars he would use for Uber. But his vanishing health continued unabated. He seemed to have a premonition of his own passing, as he wept repeatedly about not seeing his children. He emaciated. Life took a grim picture. When I saw him by chance in January 2023, the dude called Saint looked 15 years older than his age. His miracle cut had shrunk. His fat wallet was gone. He was left with only his fat wheel. His eyes seemed lost in their sockets. This would be the last time I would see him. Saint snuck out to Lagos to hang in with his sister in Jos. He told no one. But a month ago, in April precisely, the once delightful actor who brought joy to many a home broke his icy silence. He called a mutual friend in US to give him a devastating message. He was on a deathbed. He said and wanted a friend to pray for him. It's not looking good. Pray for me, he appealed passionately. His next call came on May 1st, 2023, this time to his mentor, the man who made him a star with his production, Zegzy22. He told him with a weary voice that he had had 3 surgeries but was still in hospital in Jos. He harbored again that his situation was not looking good, that he is also in a deep pain, the stress that he could not see his children, but he still begged him not to tell anyone about his illness. Such was the life of his creative hermit, a lowly trooper. I was the first to hear the news of his death late on Sunday, May 7. Having confirmed it, I called Zeb Ejiro. I have a very bad news, my brother Zeb. I began. What is it? What is it? He asked anxiously. A big star has fallen in Nollywood. Zeb broke down in tears. I hadn't said who it was, but sobbing helplessly now, he said, don't tell me it is Saint Toby. Sadly, he was right. May his soul rest in peace. After listening to what he wrote, I believe we all agree that bad marriage kills. Saint Toby's illness arises out of depression. He lost and craved for his lovely children, but he couldn't have them. Sadness and depression bring him in the hands of a deadly undisclosed illness that took his life untimely. We all love Saint Toby. There are some people out there who are like Saint Toby, who are dying silently in a marriage. They decide to endure all pain quietly without telling anyone. The truth is that any marriage that steals you completely from your loved one is a selfish marriage and is not a good marriage. I urge everyone who are currently going through this phase in their life to liberate themselves for the sake of themselves, for the sake of the beautiful future that awaits them, for the sake of their children that should not experience those things in their life. Whatever children see while growing up will remain in their head forever, and they are not meant to be exposed to negativity. And for those who are not yet married, be wise. Do not marry a man or a woman only because you love them. Make sure that they also love you back. Be sure of the person's good and bad sides. Make sure you know if the family accepts you and can tolerate you. And finally, do not take everything silently in marriage. Say no to abuse, whether physically, mentally, or emotionally. If you try to learn from others, you shouldn't wait for things to happen to us before we can learn. So this is all I have to say today on my channel. If you're just watching for the first time, please remember to click on the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell for next video, and like my video. Thank you.